Very good morning to you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Guys, we're going to have a look at the Earth's health at a glance of this morning. Spent a few hours getting various scientific equipment out, like the atmospheric CO2 detector to measure the atmospheric parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. Likewise with the oxygen, and take a sample rate, measure the content of oxygen in our atmosphere. As you can see, we've got the latitude and longitude of the magnetic North Pole current position, which is measured on the 17th of every month. We also have a radiation detector, which measures the microsieverts of a sample of radiation. But before that, there is a background count, which is the proper way to measure radiation at any location. We also went over to the site, Pole Shift News, counted the erupting volcanoes, and as you can see they're at 27, and then we went and had a look at USGS for the largest earthquake in the last 24 hours. We've got the muons here from the UK at 511, and Kendall, as one of our superstars, as you know, has sent us his muon readings. You can see his are slightly higher, which is what we would expect to see because the intensity is weakening over Canada, so you would expect a higher rate of muons in that region. It's just an indication that there is more cosmic radiation going through these weaker intensities than there is, say, like here in the UK or in Australia. The sunspot numbers are at 2, there's an unsettled geomagnetic field, solar x-rays are normal, and the jet stream conditions, as you know guys, are unstable. A bit later on in the video we'll have a look at the current jet streams around the world. As you can see, we've got our magnetometers, and at the very bottom a magnetosphere strength at 50 microteslas. So guys, that's the Earth Health at a glance. Why do I do it? Well, I do it because it gives us a look if anything is changing at a very speedy way of doing it. You just go onto the website, you can have a look at the current week's modifications, if there's been any. Very, very slight changes. So in all the things that we've listed, there's not real need for concern at the moment, because they do gradually change. Oxygen changes slightly. The atmospheric CO2, as you can see, a week ago was at 421 parts per million. This week it's at 447 parts per million. Just slight changes. And so long as we keep seeing just slight changes in all these anomalies that we're watching, we know that the world we're living in is pretty stable up until the point where we start to see the changes. And where do we see the changes? In the jet streams, and we know why that is. It's because of an influx in cosmic radiation interfering with our upper atmosphere, and as a result it makes those jet streams laden. Let's go over to have a look at the jet streams over at North School. So taking a quick look at the jet streams, as you can see, it's the same story as what it has been for the last few weeks. You know, we've got the same problem caused by extra cosmic radiation inbound in our upper atmosphere, covering all of the world. It's not just targeted to one region. You know, the radiation hits all of the world, and not just from radiation coming from the sun, but galactic radiation as well. The problem is that we've got interchange between polar and subtropical jet streams on the northern and southern hemispheres, and this is what is creating, you know, the situations where we get floods, droughts, Arctic air in, you know, summertime where we didn't usually used to have that. Well, it's because the jet streams have been modified, and the modification is not down to, as we're still, I can't believe, hearing on the news, it's caused through CO2, man-made CO2 being added to the atmosphere, and as a result, you ain't going to believe it, we've got global warming and sea levels rising, all of which is not true. And that's really the reason why, you know, I set up this observatory. First of all, because it would save everybody having to buy the same equipment, which, you know, you can imagine if 30,000 people went out and brought CO2 meters tomorrow, oxygen meters, you know, and Trimag systems and things like that. You could imagine how much money that would require. Well, if one observatory does it like ours, then that saves all the other all the other people out there not having to do it. If one person puts in the time to collect the information and the data, then that saves everybody else that effort of having to do that. All we require is a few people to step forward, you know, help fund what we do, and we can keep doing it and informing people. Right now on our website, 10,000 views a week, and on the YouTube channel nearly 120,000 views a month. You know, we are getting the word out, but we have to remember that there are billions of people in this world, and only at this moment 2%, if we're lucky, are aware of some of these real changes and the truth of why these changes are happening. So there's a lot of work to do, and you know, we can only do that when we get some support. So I'll mention the link down there if you want to help support us. Link is in the description, and the only other thing to say is you have an amazing day and weekend coming, and I'll be back again at some point. As always, bye for now.